The moment Sarah snapped the lock with bolt cutters and declared, "The queen of this pool has arrived," I knew my peaceful weekend was about to spiral into a circus of chaos. Her son Ethan, shirtless and gripping a beer can with the bravado of a frat boy who'd flunked out twice, pushed past her and cannonballed into the shuttered community pool, sending a splash so loud it triggered a car alarm down the block. I stood on my porch, coffee mug frozen mid-sip, wondering if I'd stumbled into a reality TV show. But the real nightmare wasn't the noise or the water, it was the flood of uninvited guests streaming in behind them, armed with speakers, snacks, and a blatant disregard for the rules Sarah had once sworn to enforce as HOA president. Glancing at the jug of honey water I'd mixed for my garden, a mischievous grin spread across my face. If they were going to unleash havoc on my peace, I'd bring a swarm of bees to their party. 6 months ago, I'd bought this house, drawn in by the quiet cul-de-sac, starry skies, and the community pool just beyond my fence. As a tech consultant working from home, silence was my sanctuary. The HOA seemed strict but organized, and Sarah, during our first meeting, had been all smiles, presenting herself as the guardian of neighborhood standards, her visor and clipboard screaming overzealous bureaucrat. Little did I know she'd soon have me researching whether wasps could be considered vigilantes. The pool had been closed for 2 weeks after a toddler's swim diaper incident. As the HOA delicately put it, they drained it, treated it, installed a new digital lock, and posted signs declaring it off-limits until a Monday inspection. I served on the HOA's tech subcommittee, a minor role managing Wi-Fi upgrades, but it gave me admin access to the lock system access Sarah didn't have, though you'd never guess it from her self-proclaimed role as pool overlord. That Saturday started like a dream. I was watering my tomatoes, stirring a fresh batch of honey water to attract bees and deter pests, when I heard the sharp clink of metal. Peering over, I saw Sarah decked out in oversized sunglasses and a leopard print cover-up, hacking the pool lock like she was pulling a heist. Ethan, exuding the confidence of someone who'd failed every life lesson, held the gate as 20 strangers poured in. I called out, "Sarah, the pool's closed until Monday's inspection." She didn't even glance my way, just chirped, "Oh, honey, I'm the president. I make the rules." I pressed, "Not per the bylaws. You need board approval." She spun around, her smile sharp as a knife. "Write me up then," she said, waving a mimosa. Ethan cackled, "What? You gonna call the pool cops?" before diving in, nearly popping a flamingo float. The scene exploded into a full-blown Roger music blaring, coolers overflowing, a cake table wobbling under the weight of chaos. Some faces were familiar neighbors, but most were outsiders, treating the pool like their personal nightclub. My phone buzzed with HOA chat notifications, neighbors fuming about noise, unsupervised kids, Ethan smoking near the pump, beer cans littering the deck. Sarah wasn't just bending rules. She was torching them while pretending to be their champion. She'd once fined a neighbor for a too vibrant porch, yet her karaoke nights had rattled windows blocks away. Calling security or the board felt too tame. I wanted justice that stung, and the honey water on my counter was practically begging to deliver it. I bided my time, waiting until the sun blazed and the party hit its peak. The air reeked of sunscreen and burgers. Sarah held court by the shallow end, sipping rose and boasting about her executive override. Wearing gloves and boots, I grabbed a spout-equipped jug, filled it with honey water, and slipped behind the pool fence. Out of sight, I poured the sweet liquid into the skimmer drain and drizzled it along shaded fence crevices, even splashing some on a stray float. The summer heat worked fast. Within minutes, a faint buzz cut through the music, not from speakers, but wings. A few yellow jackets darted near the fruit platters. Then came wasps. Then bees. By the time a kid shrieked about a sting, panic erupted. People scrambled from the pool, slipping on wet tiles, screaming. A Bluetooth speaker sank to the deep end. Sarah flailed, yelling, "Why are they attacking?" Ethan, hiding behind a pizza-shaped float, tripped over a cooler and wailed like he'd been shot. The stereo blared pop hits, oblivious to the nature documentary unfolding. From my porch, sunglasses on, fresh coffee in hand, I watched the glorious chaos. Someone yelled for an EpiPen. Another sprinted into a bush. Sarah cowered behind a lawn chair, towel over her head, as her empire crumbled. I didn't call 911, I didn't need to. The bees were my uninvited guests, delivering a sting sharper than any HOA fine. By morning, the pool was a war zone. Deflated floaties, crushed cans, a soggy speaker drowned at the bottom. Sarah's grand party had become a humiliating rout, and watching it unfold was the highlight of my year. But I knew Sarah would be plotting before her stings scabbed over. I scrubbed the honey jug, ditched the gloves, and checked the alley for traces. Nothing. The only clue was a faint sugary scent, easily blamed on spilled drinks. I pulled the HOA security feed, which I'd installed during a Wi-Fi upgrade. It caught everything: Sarah's bolt cutter selfie, Ethan ushering in guests, the whole illegal bash. I saved a copy, ready for her inevitable spin. The HOA chat stayed silent until 10:43 a.m., when Emily from Lot 19 posted, "So, we gonna talk about the bee apocalypse?" The floodgates burst, 47 messages in minutes. Neighbors vented about the party, posting pics of crying kids and blurry swarm videos. Sarah finally chimed in, all caps, "The swarm was not my fault." She rambled about popular demand forcing her to open the pool, blamed sugary snacks, and even accused landscapers of planting bee-friendly flowers. Neighbors weren't buying it. They posted videos of her pouring mimosas, Ethan hawking Jell-O shots from floaties, and Sarah cheering, "Let's break some rules." It was a digital takedown, and she was the main course. By noon, Sarah sent an HOA-wide email on official letterhead, claiming executive rights to open the pool, denying she cut the lock, and calling the bees an act of God. I choked on my iced tea. She threatened legal action against false narratives. But our legal counsel was just Harold, a guy who mostly chased dog poop violators. That afternoon, Mark, a stoic board member, showed up at my door, clipboard in hand. He said the board had over 24 complaints about the party, unauthorized guests, alcohol, the lock, the bees. They hadn't checked the security feed, as only I, the installer, had access. I handed him a flash drive, saying it might clear things up. At the 4 p.m. emergency meeting, the room fell silent as the projector played Sarah's lock-cutting antics. She muttered about context but had no defense. The board suspended her HOA privileges, banned her from hosting events for 6 months, and fined her for damages. Ethan's social media posts, including his bee terrorism meltdown, went viral, memed as Swarmageddon survivor. Sarah's humiliation was complete. 2 days later, a crate arrived at her doorstep: 5 fake beehives, a beekeeper's suit, and a note reading, "May your next party be the bee's knees." The neighborhood dubbed her house the Hive, and kids dared each other to ring her bell. But Sarah wasn't done. A week later, I found a handwritten HOA notice on my door, signed "Former President, Acting Watchdog," accusing me of unauthorized wildlife activity. 3 more followed, claiming I used illegal bee bait, tampered with security systems, and left my garden hose uncoiled as a tripping hazard. I documented everything, catching her on my new motion camera snooping around my flower beds at night. I emailed the board, subject, "Neighborhood cryptid spotted near my roses." At the next meeting, Sarah ranted about a tech conspiracy, eyeing me. I showed her nighttime footage, and the board restricted her from private property uninvited. She stormed out, face red as a beet. Then she upped the ante. A cheap red padlock appeared on the pool gate, its code unauthorized. The board was baffled the digital lock had been overridden. Sarah denied it, claiming it was a safety upgrade to prevent another bee incident. I knew her game, claiming control one lock at a time. That night, I accessed the lock's backend and set it to buzz like a hive whenever her code was used. 3 days later, I heard "Eat a mechanical swarm," then Sarah's shriek. She dropped her key card, sunglasses askew, and fled. Neighbors posted reaction videos, and her accusations against me fell flat. I had the logs, the access, the proof. The knockout came at the monthly barbecue. The board unveiled new pool chairs, better lighting, and a mural of bees, sunflowers, and a cartoon Sarah fleeing with bolt cutters. The crowd roared. Weeks later, Sarah's final jab landed: an email from a concerned resident, traced to her IP, accusing me of illegal surveillance and insect planting. The board laughed it off. At game night, my accidental slideshow replayed her pool party, sprinkler sprint, and community order rants over a dancing bee gif. By Monday, her "for sale" sign was up. No goodbye, just movers hauling her life away as neighbors watched, silent. The day her truck left, the air felt lighter. Kids played, families grilled. The pool was just a pool again. At the bonfire, we burned her glittery community authority sash, roasting marshmallows and joking about her reign. A new family moved in kind, with a toddler and a retriever. Their welcome note read, "Excited to join the hive." I laughed, invited them for tea, and kept my honey jug as a memento not for more chaos, but as proof that sometimes the sweetest victories come with a buzz, a sting, and the perfect silence that follows.